getting ready to start assembly on Noah. Had to get the foam mats that we're going to use to help absorb some of the shock and the vibrations on the main rails. Get those kind of cut, and you can see I'm going to start getting them taped up, start kind of laid out here. I'm getting ready to run some urethane. I got cut a tip for that thing yet, but let's show you what we got going on over here. I'm gonna run some urethane in this gap right here that we didn't weld, just to keep the water from seeping in. You see it's pretty tight on some of these places, but there's still a little bit of gap you can kind of see. Nothing crazy. Just gonna put a small, slight little bead, and then put some masking tape over it. And then while it's still wet, go ahead and get the things mounted. That way, it can kind of cure to the shape of the bed. So you got tape to protect the finish, but then it's got it taped up here. So it won't be the most perfect, look on the outside, but doesn't really have to be. Just got to seal. So yeah, that's what we're doing on both of those, and then yeah, come back over here, and then we'll work on these pads. Yeah, so I'll do that, and I'll bring it back once we start. I'll bring it back probably once I get this stuff mounted. But yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm working on Noah's headache rack, getting everything put together. I realized I had to have stuff wired before it actually got installed, because if not, it'd be impossible to wire it. It's a bit of a dirt moment for me. But anyways, I'm getting ready to start soldering all this stuff together. I'm trying really hard to kind of like make sure the stuff is organized and clean, and no extra, no absurd amount of like extra wire kind of hanging around. I kind of want to make it just kind of really clean and flow, as well as making it detachable, obviously. So make it where everything can come undone and put back together and all that good stuff. But anyways, so with that being said, I'm gonna start trying to get all this stuff done. I will try to show y'all, I guess, when it's done, because it's kind of hard to record doing this, at least the way I do it. But yeah, you can kind of get a rough idea of what we're looking at here. This is the headache rack, top center bar put together. We got our brake tail light combos in here, our center brake light, and then our two Sylvania work lights. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It looks really good. I mean, it's kind of what we expected it to look like. It looks kind of busy, I'm not gonna lie. It does look a little bit busy, especially with this light in there. But I guess it is what it is. And you can pull this off, and then you have just some 3 holes, and then you can just put plugs in there. So I mean, if we decide we don't, if we ever take the shell off itself and we actually run the headache rack by itself, and we figure out that we don't want that third brake light, we can pull it off and then just plug those holes with some grommets like that. But no big deal, and it won't look as bad, I don't think. But anyways, I'm pretty happy with it, of course. And on the shell, we're going with ghost lights, kind of like this, where it's there's no red lens. Obviously on the headache rack, I wanted to have good red lens, that way it was just really kind of more utilitarian in nature. So that worked out really well, and I like the way the contrast looks really good. But anyways, I'm gonna start soldering this stuff, because I'm gonna try to get this thing at possible at least installed tonight. We'll see how it goes, because it is getting kind of late. But yeah, I will bring it back once I have an update. So see y'all then. So working on Noah. It's been a while since I've done kind of an update, but it's been mostly because not much has got done. Just kind of mocking stuff, making sure everything still fits after all the paint and stuff. But this is wired. I don't think I made a video of it being completed because I'm stupid, but basically it was just a trailer 4-pin, your standard trailer 4-pin. Yeah, this line is really dirty. There you go, much better. Basically, you use regular trailer 4-wire and the 4-pins connectors to make this piece detachable. Basically, because these tail lights will work as a trailer brake kind of setup. They will be both turn signal and brake lights, as well as your running lights and all that good stuff. So that's why we were able to do that. And we'll just connect this to our main vehicle side trailer wiring harness. So that'll be simple. Of course, the other stuff will have to be independent, wired straight to the vehicle itself, just because of how we want it to be, independent blinkers and brakes and all that good stuff. But anyways, we got this wire ran. Again, that's for the tail lights and the brake lights and turn signals. I've got the independent, I think it was, let me see here, the independent brake light and the independent turn signal wire, as well as the positive and ground of both of the Sylvania pods wired in to this bus. Just 2-inch, or just 2-stranded wire. Makes it a lot easier when they're like this together to kind of route and stuff. Anyways, these have quick connects, like actual like marine automotive style disconnects. Again, in here, and I'm sure I'll have this light off, before or later. I'll try to show y'all what I'm talking about, and if not, I can show y'all for the speakers, the same ones we use. But anyways, so these will power the independent brake light and the independent turn signal if we ever actually want to use them, which I don't know why you would, because it's in the center, but it'll be there. And then of course I got this wire. This is just routed. This is a 8 conductor bus assembly. You can see it's 8 different wires. They're really thin. It's not really focusing, but it's really thin. I don't know what it's like, 16 gauge, but I doubt it's actually 16 gauge. It looks a little bit smaller to be. Looks a little bit too small to be 16 gauge. It's extremely light wire, so Chinese knockoff stuff. But anyways, it's in a good cover though, good protector, good protecting coating. This is just routed again through here, and it's out of the hole right now. That will go to the shell. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use it for kind of the shell's majority of its independent like lights and stuff. Again, like left turn, right turn, right turn, left turn, tail light, brake light, cargo lamp, and then auxiliary lights as well. So that's what that's for. Just have that routed just because it's a little bit bigger. And then right now I'm working on the wings. Of course, the wings aren't bolted; they're just loose. They're just kind of hanging. Everything's loose right now, just because I want to get everything on, and then we'll tie it up as it's fit. But I'm working on wiring in the clearance lights. I got this one done off the vehicle just because it was a little bit easier to do. But I've got I'm running really thin 20 gauge wire. I think this is 20 gauge wire. It's incredibly small and thin. It's really low current, obviously, but of course these little lights are very low current as well. But that's the wire size that these lights actually take. So it's more insulation than there is wire, so not much current it's going to take to pull those. But anyways, I've got this braid stuff. I use a lot of this inside for the car stereo stuff. I didn't really want to use the regular just ribbed loom stuff. I wanted to use something like this, that way it would be less inconspicuous. I'm not sure how UV protecting it's going to be. I mean, right there you can see where I had kind of a lot of heat shrink. You see it's not fully enclosed, it's a little bit, you can see kind of through it, whereas right here it's on the regular strand, you can see it's pretty much entirely enclosed. So it's pretty UV resistant, I'm hoping. And again, with the shell on, hopefully I'm hoping the sun's not going to just destroy this stuff. If it does, we'll redo it, no big deal. Anyways, I'm trying to do my best to route this stuff smart and not as clusterfucked as I usually do stuff. So I'm thinking about making a seam right there. That way it can kind of tie in right into the shell. The shell, remember, will have a pretty substantial run right here. So this, I'm hoping we can just make all this tie in just right there, and then we can just jump into the shell and then go up. I kind of want to figure out a way to do it. If I can, I'll figure out a way to make it where it is kind of enclosed on the wing itself, and that way if we're not running the shell, we can just run the wires maybe through here to this point and then just run them into the main assembly. But again, I'm not sure I'm going to do that. But anyway, so I'm going to start working on this. I'm going to try to put these wings, get these lights ran first before I put the shell on, and then we'll put the shell on and go from there. And then I'm also going to run a little bit heavier wire for future project. I'm going to have the wing lights. That was originally when I was going to do the wing lights. Oh my god, I can't talk. When we were building all of this, I was going to do the wing lights, and I kind of just forgot about it, really. I never got around to doing it. So I've got this bolt inverted right here that we'll use to mount the light, or mount the bracket for the light, I should say, rather. But we're going to have to, I want to have the wires already ran for it. That way it's there for future use. And again, it'll be a wing light about this, shooting out like that. So, but again, we haven't done that. We haven't figured it out yet. But I'm gonna run the wires for that as well. That way, have everything kind of pre-wired for future projects. So, anyways, I'm gonna get that done, and then I will bring y'all back when there's something to update about. So, I'll see y'all then. So, working on Noah, little update here. Just got done wiring in the wing on the driver's side. So now the passenger and driver's side wings are both wired in. Getting ready to put some urethane between these gaps here, just to kind of prevent some rotting. Of course, I can't really get to it with the paint gun and anything like that, so I'm just going to put some urethane on these seams. I might do all the seams, I'm not sure just yet, but definitely going to do these top seams. And then I'm probably going to put some urethane and use the urethane to kind of hold these wires, just because there's no real good way, if I have, to really mount them and secure them, aside from the masking tape, which we're not going to leave on there. For obvious reasons. So, and I'm thinking about just putting some urethane, just little blobs, little tiny little dots of urethane, just to hold it. And yeah, we'll go from there. And I also got my wire ran for my wing light, obviously. But yeah, so I'm probably gonna do that now. Of course, this on the driver's side, this wing wire goes in. It goes in the very back hole of the headache rack, and then it goes through inside the channel all the way down, and it comes out over here, right by all of our other wires. I'm kind of going with the ideal of all the wires, with the exception of the antenna wires that got to go, inside the cab, obviously, which I'm pretty sure they're going to go in down there. We'll put them through a hole and we'll make a kind of route down there. But I'm going to try to make all the other wires that pretty much are self-contained to the bed system or the bed rack itself. I want them to come out right here. That way you can kind of have a nice organized kind of area right here, and that go right into of course the battery box and the battery tray. So yeah, that's my ideal, at least for all the routing on this end. I want it to be biased. I don't want it centered. I don't want it offset. I want it biased to the passenger side. And then of course, we still got to run speaker wires. So I got to redo my numbers, I think, or I got to check my numbers, double check my numbers, but I'm pretty sure this 8 conductor wire bus will be enough to supply the cap with all of its triggers. I'm gonna have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be enough. But we'll still have to run the 4 wires for the solar panels, obviously 2 grounds, 2 positives from the solar panels, and we'll have to run 8 wires for the speakers, the speaker system, and then we might run another additional 4 wire bus just to power any additional lights, or just to have additional wires there if we need to add stuff in the future. Not 100% positive on that just yet. Again, we're just still got to kind of figure the numbers out there on that regard. But yeah. But other than that, though, I'm pretty happy with this. Of course, all the fingerprints and smudges looks like crap. It makes it look like all dirty and stuff. But that is what's gonna happen when you have high gloss black. But anyways, I'm really happy with it. It looks almost surreal, kind of, in a way. Everything looks really good. So I'm really proud of it. But yeah, so I'm gonna start doing this urethane stuff, because it's probably gonna take a little bit of a while to do. And get the wires, at least the wing wires, secured by urethane. That way tomorrow it'll be dry, and we know if not it's going to work or not, because luckily with urethane, as long as you don't prime it, kind of getting into more advanced technical stuff here, but a lot of times urethane we use to hold windshields in, and we use primer. It's a really good material that bites into literally everything. It'll literally bite in the dirt and hold. And that's what the urethane goes on top of, and when urethane's on top of primer, it's very strong, and you're not going to get it off. But when it's especially like fresh paint like this that's not been even sanded at all, like this Uno for instance, that's not been touched at all, just if you don't put no primer on it and you just put just straight urethane, and of course, you know, a little bit of urethane, not much, but just a little bit, you'll find that it holds really good as long as you don't touch it. But if you had to, you can kind of almost peel it off in a sense, like a hot glue essentially. You know, again, so that's kind of my goal here. I think, again, as long as you don't touch it, and or trying to actually get it off, it's going to be fine. It's going to stay on there. It's going to be strong as hell. But yet, if we have to, you know, take it off for whatever reason, we'll have that ability too. So I think that's what I'm going to do. At least in my head, that's what makes sense. But yeah, so I'm going to go and do that, and then I might do an update video once I get done with it, or I might not. I'm not sure just yet, but we'll go from there. But yeah, so I will see y'all guys in a bit. So just got done urethaning everything. I'm not entirely happy how it turned out, which I kind of knew was going to be a kind of a cluster. I mean, truthfully, I always knew it was going to be a cluster. But during, I think it's going to do what we wanted to do, and it's going to seal, which is the most important thing. So I really don't care what it looks like, because again, right now it looks really pretty and kind of tacky, you know, all the high gloss and everything, but eventually, you know, a year from now, it's all going to be kind of, you know, coated, so to speak, with dust and dirt and just stuff that's not going to get rinsed off very often, so it's not going to be as obvious. So right now it's a bit of a sore sight, but again, it's going to age very well, I think. Anyway, so we got the main top bit sealed. Mainly I just didn't want water to be anywhere between the actual panel and the structural stuff, just because I didn't want it to rot out from the inside. You know, down here it doesn't really matter as much, just because the panel doesn't go that far, and that plus and it can drain. It actually can breathe down here a little bit more than it can up there. But yeah, so it's sealed off. Also, I did some urethane just to hold the wires in, like we talked about earlier. You can kind of see I got a little bit of smears right here, but that wipes off. That's just alcohol smearing. But yeah, it's, see, little beads of urethane just right there, just enough to hold it. It works really good. And during this you know, this braided stuff, it works really good as a kind of like a fiberglass kind of mentality kind of thing. It works really good to grab onto that urethane. And we did this side as well. Again, it looks kind of tacky, but again, it's going to age very well, I think. So yeah, so that's where we're at now. So I'm going to call it a day, probably. Come back tomorrow and then try to wire the majority of the shell off the vehicle before I put it up here, and then hopefully I'll have everything wired to a point where you can just drop the shell on and then just make the connections. That's the ideal, at least. I'm not really, excuse me, gosh, I'm not really sure if that's going to actually work out that way, but that's what I'm hoping, at least. In my head, I think it should work. But anyways, so as you can see, I don't know why, it seems like every kind of project like this, whenever you start getting kind of finalized, that like your workspace starts off perfectly clean, and then like it just kind of gradually becomes a cluster, and like you can see just there's like 3 different bags of bolts from like all different iterations of this thing, and we got just everything kind of crazy. But I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's going to turn out. You know, I really think it's going to be pretty gnarly. And like these little lights, I mean, I can't express like with words how like excited I am about these little lights. Just like, I mean, like, quite frankly, this entire ordeal, this entire project was kind of more of a joke, really, until I actually like got inside the cab and like thought, wait a minute, what if the wings that kind of hang out a little bit past the, you know, the headache rack had little clearance lights, and that ideal literally is what made me go for it. So I mean, that's pretty much what caused all of this, was just the ideal of these little lights. I just thought that was so cool. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, so we did them. And of course this one's a little bit out, but it's fine. Push it back in, it's fine. But yeah, very excited about it. And just, I mean, the overhang, I like the overhang too. Anyways, I'm gonna quit my rambling. I'm gonna go home, and then I'll come back tomorrow and work on it. But yeah, very excited. It's a bit of a pity too. You're not gonna be able to see the headache crack when the shell's on. That's a bit of a pity, but damn, it is cool though. So thanks for watching, guys. I will be back when I get back, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm working on wiring the behemoth that is Noah's center lid, crown, whatever you want to call it, shell. You can see I'm working on driver's side, moving over to the passenger side now. But got the clearance lights wired in, one of that loom and stuff, and of course our little long light is wired in there as well, going through the conduit, coming over, connecting this. It's a lot of kind of daisy chaining stuff. This is all daisy chained from all here to there. The brake light and turn signal are daisy chained over to here, and they're going into this side. And then I've decided to wire each side independently, with the exception of the tail lights. I want the tail light circuit to be one big circuit. We can go ghost mode if we want to. But on the far as the brakes and the turn signals, I want to wire it on each per side, so to speak. So anyway, so this particular bus goes here, picks up this light, and then goes down, and you can see it's kind of in a mess, but it goes out towards the passenger side. It comes out over here. This is that bus, and this controls again the brake light, the turn signal, the ground for that, and as well as the I believe tail light for this as well. Is tied into this as well. So that's what this is, and then this is obviously the main wiring harness for the chase light, which is going to be wired in as well. And right now I'm working on the driver's side, or passenger side variant. Obviously, this is like, you got to do some steps, so you have to do one length of wire, then do one sheath, and then just keep stacking it. I forgot to put it through that little loop, so rip that one. But everything else is going through here. And as you can see, where I'm starting to work on this section of wire right here, I'm getting ready to connect this daisy chain together to this daisy chain, and then connect it over here. You can see where I'm just kind of going the links. And then this wire obviously goes from the linear tail light to, it's going to go into and hit over here with this light, the main circle light. But yeah, it's a bit of a cluster at the moment, so I'm probably just going to wire all of this kind of as like an assembly wiring kit. We're going to put these 8-pin plugs, and then I'm thinking about making the tail lights and the brake lights on the passenger side drop, and then obviously with the chase light drop, and then I'm thinking about making that assembly, and then everything else that's got to be done, your actuator wires, your speaker wires, your main overhead lights, these little pedal lights, and all that on the driver's side drop. At least that's the ideal. So kind of winging it right now. We'll just kind of see what really flows the best, really, I guess. But anyways, just wanted to show all that, and I will bring on back when I get a chance. So just an update on Noah, on her crown. Just got done wiring the tail lights, so the clearance lights, the surrounding clearance lights, I guess. So I got all this wired in, and loomed up, tied in, goes all the way over there. It does branch off right here to the main vehicle supply. So this is what powers the clearance lights. It's a nice little branch right there. Goes off, ties in, keeps daisy chaining all the way through here. And these little retainers. And then goes and goes and goes, and it finally meets up. It connects to that side, which connects to that over there. So the clearance lights in this thing are done, which is great. Now I've got to basically wire in this light and get it routed to go out, and then that'll be pretty much it for the actual vehicle lights, with the exception of the center lights assemblies, but that has to be its own little assembly because it comes from the top, and so that'll be its own little thing. They'll just trigger off of whatever we have over here. But anyway, so that's a kind of cool thing. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna try to start working on the actual trigger wires for all the other stuff. But I just want to give y'all an update on that. I said I'm pretty proud of this. It's taken a long time, and it's kind of it's kind of finicky. You gotta kind of stage it and step it out. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. So anyways, I'm gonna go get back to work on this, and then I will let y'all know on any updates. I'll see y'all then. So, working on Noah's headache ride. Not really working. This is an update video. What the hell am I saying? So it's the end of the day from finishing all the wiring of the clearance lights. And yeah, it looks pretty bitchin'. I mean, we kind of knew it was gonna look pretty good, but it looks really good. By the way, looks better than we anticipated. The chase bar, just the brake lights, of course, looks way better than we thought it was gonna look into. And the turn signals, yeah. The light really does reflect off of the paint like I wanted it to, so that's a win for me. And then the clearance lights. So of course we got the rear clearance light there, and then we've got our intermediate clearance, and then we've got our main clearance. And I am so happy with these. I like the intermediate lights. Those look pretty good. I think those look pretty sick. But I'm so glad we decided to go with that 3 central, that central 3. It just looks so much better, I think. I love it. I love it a lot. Anyway, so looks really good. I'm really proud of it. And like, look at the paint job. It literally, the light reflects. Like it's crazy, man. It's absolutely perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, and then I'm gonna come back and then try to wire in the rest of it. And yeah, but anyways, I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of an update, and a little bit of a blooper reel. I think I might have already mentioned this, but I forgot to put this wire into that little loop when I did this connection, so rip. But everything else is pretty much good. Just want to show y'all that. Said I'll be back tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, look how fucking sick that looks, dude. I mean, it does look a little bit busy. I'll be the first to admit. It's kind of extra, almost too much, really. But damn, does it look good. So, anyways, yeah, I'm going to call it here. So, I will see y'all guys tomorrow, or whenever I work on this thing next, but hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully it gets done this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, I will see y'all guys later. Peace. Just want to give a little bit of an update. It's the next day from last night. I've got a few things done. I've got my my cargo lights, or my bed lights, or rack lights, whatever you want to call it, ambient light. I'm done. Pretty simple. I kind of winged it here, really. Just trying to imagine where the best places for light would be. I'm a little bit concerned I don't have enough on the ends, but hopefully these will disperse enough. But that might be a problem, but we'll have to address it at a later time. Probably when it's on the vehicle, really. But anyways, so I got, let me see here, it's out of the way. So I got basically just, these are the nightlight, kind of cheap nightlight, Amazon special bed light kits. I'm actually kind of liking it. I really enjoy it. They're pretty simple. They're not as complicated, They're not as I guess linear as some of the other kits they have. It's more modular. They all have like little quick connects. Let me see if I can show you how quick connect. They got little quick connects, so you can like disconnect them and stuff. It makes it really cool. It was really handy for this to kind of make it where you could kind of go around stuff. And I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. But anyways, so main light placement was on the flat spots, or the parallel spots to the parallel panels to the bed cover. So obviously here, and then here. And then I did put one right here on this angle iron support, kind of it'd be facing down towards the bed cover. I figured that would kind of give it a little bit of a throw. I'm hoping these things have a little bit of throw, so we can throw kind of light, kind of more towards, this back part of the bed. At least that was the ideal. Anyway, so those are all done. I also got so these wires routed into here. So this light right here, where I'm gonna mount it like this, on the actual wing cover. I was just gonna mount it. Again, just to kind of give a little bit extra down facing light, more towards the edge here. Anyway, so that's the purpose of this. So that worked out pretty good. As far as wiring, everything's been wired now, or routed at least on this. The actuators wires have been routed. You can see we went through here, used the zip tie on our conduit, around the conduit, routes through here, it goes underneath the actuator into the conduit, and then comes back out, comes up here, runs on the outside of this conduit, because this conduit's kind of stuffed with all this other wire, and then this one comes out, goes inside the conduit rings to hold it, and you can see it goes there, and then it kicks out through the conduit out to the driver's side dump. And same as the passenger side, same thing, kicked it out, zip tied it, ran it underneath here, the conduit, protective conduit, and then again, this conduit actually has some room, so I ran this inside the conduit and then kicked it out, and then again connected it to this one. Well, not connected it, but joined the cables together as a bus, and again out toward the driver dump. So that worked out really good. The bed lights, you can see I kind of got these things kind of going in and out. Mostly zip tied. I figured these would probably be the first thing that would fail, so I just zip tied everything. I didn't really worry about running it to the conduit. But anyways, so this stuff is basically coming out on the driver's side as well. You can see it's just zip tied right there, and it just kind of dumps out to be dealt with in a later date. And then that's pretty much it. These got wired in finally, so we got both tail lights wired in, all the clearance lights are wired in. I still got to I'm going to make just one single kind of bus just for these clearance lights and this brake light. Let's make it just be one kind of big harness just for this. The chase light will be its own wiring harness, but this will just be its own little wiring harness as well. And that way it'll be a lot easier to kind of troubleshoot. And yeah, so we'll just have to run that out, and we'll probably just run it out one of these holes, and then kind of just kick it out, tuck it in wherever we can get tucked out at, and just kick it out on the passenger side with all the other lights. Right now I'm pretty happy with all this. Basically this is all the lighting, or currently it's all the lighting. These are all light control wires, with the exception of of course the cover lights, or the bed cover lights. And then these are the actuator wire buses, which again, it's psychotically thin, small wire. These actuators, it's like 20 gauge, but hopefully it won't burn the truck down. We'll see. But anyway, so this is pretty much the driver's side. I'm going to use this more of the functionality wire end, and then the passenger side, since the passenger side will be more close to the fuse block and the battery box, we'll make that more functionality for the lights. So yeah, so on the driver's side, we're going to make their speaker wire come up from the driver's side. At least that's what I'm thinking currently. You can see I got my speaker bars just kind of sitting in here. They're not bolted down just yet. They're just kind of mocked up. But you can see we've got these kind of getting ready to go. We're trying to staging these things. I want to start staging our speaker wires. Of course, we got to use the little connectors, the 2-pin disconnect ends. We got to use those and wire those in for the speakers. And I'm kind of judging. I'm kind of wondering if I shouldn't make just make instead of doing each individual connection for both speakers, just make 2 speakers on each arm. Make 2 speakers into one connection. I don't know. I need to probably check the voltage. I'm kind of wondering if the voltage won't be too strong. But anyway, so that's something we're also looking at too. But anyways, we're going to probably want those wires. And then, of course, we still have to do our light bar wiring. Again, that's going to be a little bit of a pain. I'm kind of afraid we're going to have to just kind of do that almost on the truck in a sense. We'll have to just put it, kind of zip tie it to kind of, where we can put it at, and then just kind of try to route it from there. At least that's what I'm kind of thinking. But anyways, I just wanted to show you guys this. This is kind of a bigger update of all of them. A lot of stuff starting to get kind of taken care of. Obviously, so we still got to do this main bus for the top section lights, as well as the speaker wire bus and the actual overhead lights. And then pretty much after that, the only real other major play will be the radio antennas. This is the CB antenna wire and the GSMR antenna wire, as well as the solar panel charging wires. And again, those will kind of be routed kind of after things on the truck, with everything kind of permanently put in, not permanently, but kind of, you know, on the truck, where we can kind of figure out the best way to route it on the truck. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to show all this. I'm kind of proud of it. I'm probably gonna do the urethane trick over here to hold these little, this little wire, just to kind of hold it in these little corners. There's no real good way. If I was smart, I would have put some of these conduit rings on these edges, but I never thought about that. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but that would have been genius to do. But yeah, one thing I've learned from doing all of this, this is my first real kind of like professional, trying to be a wannabe professional job. Use bigger conduit. Use bigger conduit and/or use multiple pieces of conduit. Because like this right here had plenty of room, and some of them had plenty of room, but like this one was just filled up just with these 4 little 20 gauge wires in the loom. And you know, it's like these, just, you know, 2 pieces of loom and it filled it up. So definitely, if you're gonna do this in the future, just figure out how many wires you're gonna have, your wire thickness with your loom and all that. With loom and heat shrink, figure out kind of a generic thickness and then go with it. Of course, you know, over here, you know, we had to have a little bit of restrictions on the thickness of the conduit, just because of the overhead lights and how they actuate. You know, we didn't want to have any clearance issues, but other than these little stretches of conduit, you know, that have been the only real restrictions we would have ever actually had. But anyways, I'm gonna quit my ranting and just want to get y'all an update. So I will be back once I get my speaker wires routed or ran and some of the other stuff. So yeah, just want to show y'all that. So I will see y'all later. Just a quick little update video on the wiring. I got the speaker wire ran. Everything is this Alex braid stuff and heat shrunk. Got the connectors, which is very cool. You can see this is the passenger side. So all of this is ran out. It looks really good. That clear copper wire with that black, it looks really good. I love the way it looks. Anyways, so I got this loose for the plugs, and then the main bus wire is zip tied again to the conduit on the top edge, and we can move it around. You know, we can rotate it, you know, wherever we need to orient it. But anyways, since it's surprisingly very heavy, just these 2 wires put together, it's very heavy, really. So I went ahead and put it through this loop, this conduit loop, just to kind of support and take a little bit of the stress off the zip ties. So you can see where it kind of zips in right there, and then of course come back towards the driver's side now, on the driver's side center, and zip tied it back to the conduit again on the top. Trying to clearance and not hit any interference with the actuating light, but that's what that is. And then basically I got other secondary bus for the driver's side speakers right here, again loose where they can move and stuff, but just heat shrunk together to the main main passenger bus, and they come out here. And I don't know, somehow I got a little bit off of my measurements. I'm not really sure how that happened. I got quite far, like literally a foot off. So not sure how that really happened. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this back to get to this equal level, and then we'll add this plug. That will be the 8-wire plug, and that will connect to our 8 speaker wires. And then this is how we'll be able to disconnect the speaker system from the truck and take it off. We're going to have to cut everything and rewire everything, so this will be kind of cool. Other than that, though, it's pretty much all I've done. It's literally took, oh yeah, that's right, and I did this too. So I then wired the male end of those plugs. Of course, the female ends are on the main speaker wire assemblies. But anyways, these are the male ends wired to the speakers. I got those just wire loomed. So yeah, got all 4 of the speakers wire loomed. But yeah, so it's literally taken me, I'm pretty sure, like an hour to do all this, which probably a little bit pathetic, but I've been busting my ass on this, so pretty proud of it. So yeah, now I think I'm going to do that 8-pin connector over there, And then I'm probably going to start, I'm not really sure, I'm probably going to start working on maybe the solar panel, the 4 solar panel wires. Just kind of get a lead ready to go for them. But then again, I might not. I guess I need to sit back and actually think about what all is going to have to be done on the truck and what's not going to be done on the truck. I guess is the real main thing. But we might start putting a bunch of these 8 plugs together. 8 plug between the 8 plugs and the 2 plugs, the 2 pins, whatever we have to do to get all these wires started and get these wires ready to go for the truck side. But yeah, so don't want to jinx it, but I've got a feeling we're getting pretty close to getting ready to go on the truck with this thing. Still got to do my light bar, my overhead light wiring, which is going to be kind of a bitch. But again, like I've been saying this entire time, this, even though it should be as simple as you set it there, it's going to fall, but you set it there and you just kind of mock the wire, wherever you want to put it at. I'm kind of thinking the speakers need to be installed, and it's need to be on the vehicle, and then we'll just have to zip tie this and its leads kind of just to all the conduit and stuff on the vehicle. So I don't know. It's kind of going to be a pain because I can't move this by myself. When it wasn't painted, I wasn't worried about scratching anything, and it was bare. Yeah, I could manhandle it. But now that it's painted and we're worried about not scratching everything, and now it's got all this 30 pounds of wire on it. Yeah, it's a little bit extra heavy now, so I'll probably have a second hand to help set it up, which is a bit of a pity because I don't really have friends, so I'll have to maybe find some baby Lexa raccoons to see if I can get them to help me do manual labor, pull this plastic off before I forget about it. That's really satisfying. Look at that. Clean old light bar. And we're still gotta do all this too, but again, this kind of needs to be done. I don't know. Whatever. So anyways, I'm gonna quit my ranting, kind of do a little thought process here and see if I can try to map this out in my head, and then I'll go from there. But anyways, I just wanted to show y'all how cool that looks. I mean, just look how slick that looks. That copper and black looks so damn good. But anyways, I will see y'all guys in a bit. Just doing a quick little update, just testing out which wires were positive and ground on these cargo lights, whatever you want to call them. It's the first time I'm actually seeing them lit up. Pretty proud of them. They look pretty bright, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. I did decide to route this wire instead of going out like that originally from the driver's side. I went ahead and routed it through the conduit all the way. And I'm going to put it on this main gang for the lights. Basically, the only reason I did that because we only had 5 or 6. Let me see, 3, 4, 5, 6. We only had 5 actual wires, and we're going to have an 8-wire plug. Plus this is the little wire that goes to the center's high mount stoplight with that turn signal. Let me turn this off now. We know it works now. But the high mount center stoplight, the turn signal part, of course, isn't going to be much use up there. But I still want to have it wired just in case we have a use for it. So anyways, this is what this is. So that makes 6 out of 8 slots. Obviously this is 2 wires. We can use the ground. We can trigger the ground off of the ground bus, the main ground bus for all the lights, or we can make it do it itself. So I'm thinking about just doing the ground on this thing to the main bus, and that way we have 1 open slot left for future development. So yeah, we'll go from there. And then of course I'm leaving the chase light system to entirely by itself. I want it to be entirely separate. It'll obviously have the same individual turn signal and brake light inputs as well, but I want the ground to be entirely separate, and I want the whole thing to be separate essentially, just so we can, if we decide to make it flash, have like a flash strobe controller on it, it can just be just on the chaser bar. So that's what I'm planning on doing. And then yeah, so basically I still haven't done this yet, but it looks like now at this point all we gotta do is make this 8-point connection over there and over here, and then do 2 of those 2-pin connectors right here for the actuators, and then we'll pretty much be ready to start working on the final things, and again, this may or may not happen until it's on the vehicle, but the main overhead lights, as well as the solar panels. So pretty cool. I got all of these lights controls tied in to the main bus, so all the brake lights work, all the brake lights are tied in together. All the turn signals are individual. Ideally, they are. All the grounds are together, and all the tail lights are together. And I can show you what that looks like. Actually, let me just try to not burn down the entire apparatus. I would cry if that happened. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, there's got. Oh, sweet Jesus. There's literally 8mm of gap. It's quick. Anyways, so we got all the tail lights. These are the tail lights. Very nice. Clearance lights, obviously, on the front. Swap to the one. So we got all of our clearance lights, and tail lights. And then, of course, I'm going to try to be very careful with this. You can see our brake lights. Sorry, I'm trying to not short out the jump box. You can see our brake lights. And then, of course, we have our main turn signals. And then the other one's somewhere over there. But yeah, so pretty cool, if I do say so myself. But anyways, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to start working on wiring these main plugs up. And then really, I think we'll be pretty much ready to go on the truck. Obviously, we'll still have to wire all of this together, this assembly down here. But that can be done on the truck because when it's right side up. And of course, you know, the antenna wires and all that good stuff. But it's came a long way today. And I'm still, by the way, I'm still freaking in love with this freaking copper and black look. I mean, it looks so freaking good. Just, gosh, look how pretty that is. Hopefully it lasts like that, because that would be really cool if it was. And you can see I've kind of got wire management going on right now. Of course, I messed it up. I should have done it. I should have had this already ran when I did this, but it was kind of an afterthought, so whatever. But you can see I got the main lights, the main body lights, or the shell lights, with the exception of the chase bar, kind of bust together here with the heat shrink. And then I got the main chase bar harness then attached to the separately attached bus. So yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna start doing this, and then I will get back with y'all. Just want to give a little bit of update, so I will see y'all then. So guys, this is kind of a final update. Well, I'll say final. This will be kind of the last update, probably like this, hopefully. I think all the other wiring we gotta do now is just gonna be on the vehicle. But just kind of quick reference, we went over what I changed, I guess what I did since the last update. I got all these 8 pins put in. I got them wrapped and labeled with loom and stuff. So they should be protected, hopefully. I always kind of hate, it's kind of just me doing a poor job planning my wiring. But it's like every time you wrap them with loom and stuff and tape them, they start getting curves. But again, that's just a skill issue that I have. I don't know how to really do it right. Especially with this, I mean, I can make them look good with the braid, but not with, you know, loom. It's not like it always goes crazy. But anyways, this is our main speaker assembly wire, or assembly harness. This is our actuators and our overhead lights and all that good stuff. And then you can see everything's pretty much finally routed. Oh my gosh, finally routed. Everything's routed now. We got the overhead lights just kind of zip tied, ready to go. This, of course, our speaker wires, our speaker plugs actually. Got speaker plugs, and here is the overhead switch ready to go, or plug ready to go. This is our pretty much the actual vehicle running lights and brake lights, blinkers, cargo lights, all that good stuff. This is the main assembly for that. Of course, this comes out on the passenger side. Our chase light plug, our chase light thing. I still need to figure out a plug for this, but since there's 5 wires, I'm not really wanting to put one of those on there, so I don't know what we're going to do with it. We might have to do some kind of random, weird kind of plug for this. I'm not sure yet. Anyways, so, yeah. So, it looks pretty crazy, but yet it doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to look, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'm probably going to just do a few little dabs of urethane, just kind of keeping some of the wires out of the pinch points, like these especially, just kind of putting these kind of in there. But other than that, though, yeah, I think it's pretty much ready to go. So I'm pretty proud of it. I don't know. Definitely it's my first time really trying to like be like truly like planned ahead of the wiring and stuff, and I feel like some of it worked out really well, and some of it kind of needs some improvements. For the first time, really kind of doing a full blown kind of design type wiring layout, I think it really did okay, or something. I think I did. But yeah, so hopefully the next update video we're putting this thing on top of Noah said. What's bad about it is I've done all this. I pretty much spent an entire day wiring this basically, and now we've got this is wiring that. Now we got to get all of those outputs and inputs and light switches and toggles all wired to the truck, and you can see those wires are from the headache rack. So there's not one wire yet ran from the truck, from the actual truck to the assembly yet. So I got a lot to do. I've got so much wiring to do on the truck side. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be real rough. But anyways, regardless, yeah, that's gonna be fun. But oh well, it's kind of part of the gig, I guess. So anyways, I'm gonna go call it a night now. It's like 11 o'clock, 10:50 right now at night, so I'm gonna call it a night, come back up here tomorrow, hopefully get it mounted tomorrow. I hate saying it, but I'm kind of wondering if I should even mount it, if I should just try to get the wiring done on the truck side while I have it open and aired out before I put this on there. So I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, it's gonna have to cut holes in the bed to get wires and battery wires and cables, and it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to take a year to wire this truck for this, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be cool. Anyway, so I'm going to quit my rambling, and I'm going to head home, and we will see what happens tomorrow whenever I work on this thing. But I appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate y'all staying with this ridiculous project. But it's getting close. It's quite literally in its final stages, so it's very, very satisfying, very rewarding, very cool. I'm very excited about this, so I will see y'all later. So I appreciate y'all watching. See y'all later.